Welcome to the video. I've picked up a new vehicle. Supposedly it has a bad head gasket. So I don't know if it's the head gasket. I purchased the vehicle from Kizzer of all people because he's leaving the state. We will be draining the coolant. I'm gonna get a battery. Well, actually I'm just gonna charge the old battery that's in the Z now because I'm not gonna spend more money than I need to, right? But we're gonna get it running. We're gonna see if it is actually the head gasket, and then if it is, we're gonna pour this bottle of sludge in the coolant system, and we're gonna see if it works. All right, so let me show you what we're working with. First thing, gonna get the battery installed. But I was looking at the battery tray and it looks like we have some friends living next to the battery. So when we fire this thing up, or at least put the battery in, we're gonna have to make sure none of these wires melt because it is entirely possible. We're gonna get these T-tops off too because it is probably 110 degrees inside this car right now. Hot. And so this is the interior. You can see it's the typical Nissan dash falling apart. The carpet's pretty gross and headliners falling down and, you know, typical stuff. I don't know if any electrical works, so we're gonna plug this battery in and see if we can melt something. So this is the battery that came with it. 2014. It's only 8 years old. Still good. Okay. All right, and then you just tap it. Ooh, hear it? I think I hear the fuel pump. I think I left the key on, maybe. So far, so good. Am I gonna tie this down? No. All right. Let's just see if it cranks, right? I mean, before we even start to get into the fuel and coolant, let's make sure the starter works. I know the motor's not locked up because when we pulled it over here, we bumped it in gear and it actually rolled. Oh, it turned, but the battery's not good. Who would have thought? It says we have half a tank. What's that? 13 gallons of fuel in this thing, maybe 14? So like 7 gallons of fuel in there? Oof. If you mixed 5 gallons in there, it'll be 50% shit. Yeah. Come on! It says I have 8 volts. Okay, let's get some jumper cables. And hopefully, we don't need to put a head gasket in it. Let's see. Wow. Wow. It actually smells like gasoline. Well, I'm curious to see if it fires up. I bet you if I cycle the key enough and get the fuel pump circulating, get the bad fuel out of the rail, I bet you it starts. It reeks of the 80s in here. Oh shit, it's gonna rain. Oh my god, it idles. Kind of sounds like it has a rod knock. Nah, that's a lifter. I guess we should check if there's oil in it, huh? Ooh, it's a little low. What oil weight we looking at? 1540 diesel oil. You know, VG, basically a diesel. So I don't think there's any coolant actually in the car, which is concerning. The oil's clean, so it's not going into the oil, which is a good sign. But we will flush everything. There's some water in there. Doesn't look like coolant, but let's start flushing it and see what comes out. Oh yeah, we got leaks. The lower radiator hose is just shitting water out of there. Oh god. It's pretty gross. I ripped it in half. There's the first half. You can actually see I pulled the fibers out of this side and it's really squishy now. Yep, OEM Nissan. God, it just feels so bad. Like this hose feels pretty good. This is just, it feels rotten. It's weird. I guess this hose is 36 years old, so let's see if we can go find me a new one. All right, ran over to O'Reilly's. They didn't have an 86 hose, but if you just walk back there and you start poking around, you find things that are close enough. So I've taken this opportunity to flush everything as well, so check. This has been the first time I've ever worked on a VG motor. It's probably the worst engine to work on inside of the car because it is just, there's just so much shit everywhere. Looks like it's holding water, kinda. Oh god. Oh god. That's pretty gross. Well, she's been idling for about 15 minutes. I just put the cap back on. It's starting to build a little bit of pressure. And it doesn't sound terrible. Once the rotor, or once the distributor dried out, it stopped misfiring. I've got good water temps. Still misfiring on one cylinder, sounds like. We're gonna go drive it. I wonder if the windows roll down. Oh! Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Woo! T-tops. Kinda cool. Why don't they make anything new with T-tops? There's no brakes. Alright, we're gonna take this thing for a spin. Oh, it's so crusty. We're going to see if it blows up. The last time I saw this car, there was combustion gas coming out of the cooling system. So. Top speed run. The wheels might fall off. No brakes. Oh, the thing rides like a boat. This left rear feels like it's completely blown out. What if the head gasket's fine? Ooh. Bone dry. Alright, well it runs and it drives like shit. Brakes are terrible. It feels like the left rear is gonna fall off the car. And the steering wheel wants to jump out of your hand. So I'm gonna do the right thing and ignore all of that and just clean the car and call it good until I decide what to do with it. Leave the VG motor in there or put a KA or an LS. I kinda wanna keep it cheap as possible. Maybe you guys have a better idea of what this car should be. So I've been driving the Z around. Oh god. Oh god. It is losing coolant, but it's not on the ground. It's not coming out of the engine, so it must be getting burned, but it doesn't smoke. So I'm a little stumped there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this car. I really wanna do a time attack, but I don't know what engine. I may just turbocharge this one and stick the factor a turbo in it and do all that nonsense, but that does sound kind of terrible, especially working on a VG. But we may do an LS or a KA swap. Leave a comment below, let me know what I should do with this thing. I'm leaning towards just leaving it stock and leaving the AC on it too, because I think I can recharge the AC and that'd be really nice. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what we should do with this thing.